Sporting touch of hands. Round number one. There's the fast start, and that is the fastest knockout in bare knuckle fighting championship.
Hey, mama, no born in the Bronx, raised in Dade. Been in the city since Pit had braids. Bahapanti parties, but I know how to sneak me out. Now it's 7-figure meetings every day. We need a house. It's game time. The game's mine. You know the vibe. Yo, ya how el mundo entero repping.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Don't Blink.
Uly,
I got
three. Uly, 3. Oh, yes.
Episode 3.
Yes, and what's
That
coming
means-
next?
Episode 3, but we're a success already. We're a hit. That's it. We're on the roll. Man, I'm glad to say today I have my boy Raj in the building.
Yes.
This is my dog since 2017.
Woo!
We actually met at a Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within, which is a huge thing. We met in New Jersey in July of
16,000 people.
16,000 people, which is amazing.
And in front of all of that, we met.
Yep, exactly. We'll get into the story because it's a great story about how we met. But yeah, we met in New Jersey at Tony Robbins. Raj worked personally with Tony Robbins as his photographer, has done amazing things, you know what I mean? And we met at the beginning of my pro career, and he was with Tony, which Tony was a superstar to me, and it's great to be close friends with Raj, man. We kept in contact since New Jersey, and we're gonna get into Raj's story in a minute, man. You know,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Don't Blink. You know, like I told you, Raj is a current event show. We try to keep up with the current events. We try to give people, you know, in 2000, for the last couple of years, I haven't been watching the news or keeping up with what's going on. Really, I've really been kind of staying away with it. But I've noticed since 2020 hit with this whole COVID thing, it's impossible to stay away from what's happening. You know what I mean? Like either Instagram or, bro, you could go see your homeboy from the streets that, you know what I mean? Like he ain't got nothing to do with nothing. He'll tell you, bro, you heard what happened with Trump? What? You know what I mean? Like everybody's into some political something or everybody knows about the news now. So me and my boy Too Nice, we decided to make this show, and just keep up with the current events from people from our perspective. You know what I mean? People we vibe with.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So obviously, first thing to talk about is the Trump supporters storming Capitol Hill. 1 person shot and killed, and 4 more dead. It looks like Trump isn't leaving the White House peacefully, and it looks like somebody needs to tell him, "You're fired."
Get out.
But what are your thoughts on that, brother? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's wild, right? Like, and then you go online, and then the problem is with the media, right? You don't know what's real, you don't know what's not, you don't know how much is actually. Because for all we really know, like, Trump could actually be right about the whole thing, and like everybody's like, no,
Bamboozled.
You're right, you know, like we don't really know what's really going on behind the scenes.
Trump and being right is kind of like
I know, right. I'm like, you know, I'm saying like worst case scenario. but yeah, I mean, like, you know, like they stormed the Capitol. Like this is a historic event. Like
That's crazy. That's like almost like some movie shit, though.
Yeah. Did you see the guy with like the bull horns, like with the with the
I
thing?
did see that. Yeah,
like imagine like that guy is now gonna be a historical figure in 100 years. They're gonna pull up the like history books,
high school textbooks,
and it's gonna
and
be
shit.
like, oh, look at this guy.
he's
What
like
an idiot! Like, oh,
Yeah, that guy's like a character out of what's that kid? The kids game everybody's playing on the computer.
yeah. So
Jumanji or some shit?
No, man.
Tarzan?
No, the one with the dances and shit, bro. Everybody's fucking playing that game. Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Oh
my God.
Sorry, guys. I get hit in the head for a little. But yeah, the guy from Fortnite's going to be a historic figure. You know what
Dude,
I mean?
I'm waiting for them to bring out like the action figure this year. Like in a few,
Damn.
you know, somebody's gonna do it. And then like, so there was like an interview that's circling around where they interviewed the guy, right? And the guy like he goes all the way up to like the speaker's chair and he's taking photos and all that type of stuff.
I heard that. Somebody stole the podium, I saw.
Yeah, and the guy's smiling as he walking out with the podium.
I saw it on Offer Up yesterday. Like, I was like, yo, what the hell?
But the guy's on there, and he's like, I'm an interdimensional shaman from the future, and like, this is what I'm seeing, and I'm here to hunt all the pedophiles in Hollywood, and this is why we're here to do it. And I'm just listening here, like, this guy, I mean, he was the only shaman I know to make it inside to think maybe he is an interdimensional shaman. He knows something what's up.
That shit is crazy. But I did see a video, Uly, that like, yo, they had some barricades. And then I just seen the police or the whatever. They was like, oh, you want to come in?
I've seen a couple videos on it. I haven't really kept up with too much. Just I got some, a lot going on right now. But what I did see was people hitting the cops. You know what I mean? Like going after the cops, kind of wrestling them. And
Right.
was going nuts, man.
I mean, and I saw like I haven't seen a lot, but I saw like a few photos of like them like with the guns aimed at them and stuff like that.
Nah,
they
they
just
didn't
dropped
even
the guns and
yeah,
let them go. Yeah,
they didn't even do that. I was about to cut you off. I was like, yeah, they didn't do nothing with them guns.
Right.
They were just play guns.
Yeah, that's wild.
But
That was super
you know
crazy.
what? If it was Black Lives Matter, it'd be a whole different kind of event.
Yo, for sure.
You
I
know?
definitely believe that. You know what I'm saying?
so-
I definitely believe that. But that's that. Uly, what's up? What else? What else is on the fucking hot list?
Talking about storming, storming things. Dr. Dre, a historical figure for me. You know what I mean? Growing up, a kid on the streets, loving hip hop, all that. Dr. Dre got a brain aneurysm and he was hospitalized. And obviously, he's a figure. So
He's
as
an
soon as
OG.
he's an OG.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets to the hospital, it hits the news, it hits Twitter, it's all this. People find out, and several men were spotted hiking over a hill, attempting to enter his house. 4 suspects were arrested, and the LAPD confirms the investigation remains ongoing. Which, in other words, they kicked the man when he was down, bro. That's terrible. You know what I mean? And it's a
That's the
dude that
streets.
he put on for the hood, and when he gets hurt, the hood comes over and tries to rob his house. You know what I mean? But I'm a huge Dr. Dre fan. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what do you think about
That's
that?
our childhood, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
grew up
hell
with
yeah.
all of that.
1,
Yeah,
2,
yeah,
3,
yeah.
and to the 4.
It's kind of weird though, right? Because like you're almost kicking him while he's down, like and it's just like I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me. And you only just told me this, like
Yeah, you know what, and I come from a street background and all that, but I've always believed in don't do wrong to good people. You know what I mean? And I'm not anybody to judge, but if you're a street guy, you do something to another street guy, then hey, bro, that's how the way the street goes. But if you try to do something to somebody that's living a legit life like Dr. Dre and these guys. Bro, listen, call me crazy, but karma comes around, bro.
That's
Yeah,
thing. I don't think
for
people
sure.
recognize, like, like what goes around comes around like that. And you want to know why your life is like this. But yet you focus on all the negativity. You focus on dragging other people down. It's like that saying about, like, the crabs in a barrel.
Right.
The second you climb up.
Crabs in a bucket, absolutely.
Yeah, crabs in a bucket, and, like, it's exactly the same
Like, he's trying to make it out. Grab his ass.
No, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, man, yeah.
So,
This is out of left field topics, from
Let's
baseball
go.
to out of left field.
let's go.
A South Korean city is to pay the residents $100,000 to have babies. We're talking about this pre-show right here. We're talking about how their death toll is higher than their birth rate, so I guess they're paying people to have babies so they don't disappear all of a sudden. You're telling me Japan is doing that also, right?
Well, Japan has an aging population, and then like the youth, like they're just underpopulated, and like it's a lot more of the older generation in there. So they're trying to get the young people to like procreate.
Oh shit,
That's
awesome.
And like, but if
they're taking condoms off the shelves.
right, like, and it's so I'm not surprised, like because. I mean, when you have a society that like starts to get all their needs met and everything like that, and they start to become more intelligent and they start to progress, they start to fuck less and create more children. I don't know if we're supposed to curse on here, but like,
Fuck yeah,
Fuck yeah.
So I mean, it's a trend that's going on. Like it's funny because like, have you ever seen Idiocracy?
But you know what? I haven't seen it. It's been up on. I see the thumbnail on my Netflix every day, but I don't click on it.
It was like the documentary about what like the world is today. Like the first 2 minutes is essentially like the best part of the movie, where it was like they show of like why like smart people don't like procreate and like create children, but yet the dumb people are doing it, and it's like like you get like this couple, and they're like. Yeah, well, I think one day we'll be ready to do and have a child. And, like, then they fast forward 5 years and they're like, yeah, well, we're really focused on our career right now. and then, like, they fast forward 5 more years. This bitch doesn't even want to touch me anymore. And suddenly the population of the age of the intelligent people start to go down. And then
the trailer park is
and that's
flooded.
the thing. It's quite literally a clip of the trailer park. Be like, God damn it, you got me pregnant again, motherfucker.
See, baby's busting out the trailer, man. That's crazy. I remember in China, I don't know if it was maybe the 80s or 90s, they had like a one-child policy where they were having too many kids.
China, that was actually pretty fucked up because like they prize the men more than the women in that culture. So you would hear stories like I don't know how much they do this now, but like if they had a girl child, they would take them out into the forest and like leave them. Like it would get like
Oh shit! Is that
dark.
what it is?
Yeah.
There's a documentary on
crazy.
that I really didn't get too much into, but I saw it was about that where it was like it was a girl that was born and they kind of hid her. You know, they had to hide her like almost her whole infancy and her growing up. They had to hide her because of that one child policy.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And it was about girls.
Them out of the country or something
That's
like that to
crazy.
save their life. You know,
That's
like,
crazy.
it's so
Yeah,
hard.
that's super crazy.
That's
I mean,
wild.
now that you say that other thing that you said about the procreations and the procreation and all that stuff, I was like, now that you said that, I'm like, interesting. Now I'm seeing that type of way.
Right. Yeah. Go watch the first 2 minutes. That's all you need to watch in the movie.
Got you.
I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm a movie buff, and and listen, guys, I'm dieting for my next fight, so all I do is stay home and watch movies and think about food. All right, now save the best topic for last. So we talked about pre-show. You're telling me you like UFOs. I've always been big into that weird shit, pyramids, all that, bro. They say that the Pentagon has 180 days to disclose UFO information.
Oh yeah, I heard this. They put it inside the COVID bill.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. The second that you sign the COVID bill, you got 180 days to release all UFO information.
How
to
does
the
that
public.
go hand in hand? COVID? Did
They
aliens bring
snuck
COVID?
so much things into that COVID
It was like
bill.
500 and something pages, no?
Yeah, 5,000.
Oh, 5,000.
Well, you got all
5,500
these
pages.
senators with all their agendas and stuff like that, right? And they're like, oh, if you want to pass the bill, well, okay, you got to pass all of our little bills as well, too, in the process and make all these other little laws and stuff in there. And they sneak it off. And they're talking about your $600 and your $2,000, but they're not talking about anything else in the bill for some reason, right?
Right.
But yet we were able to find that they were putting UFOs in there, and they're going to do that. That's not going to
Damn.
make the news.
Yeah, for real. We got people fighting for this $600 stimulus check, and North Korea is giving people $100,000 for some babies.
Right. But
Guys, move them to Korea.
Yeah.
I mean, South Korea.
Yeah. But the only reason that that even became a thing was because I think it was last year or maybe the year before. Joe Rogan interviewed this guy called Bob Lazar.
And I love Bob Lazar.
Yeah,
I'm familiar
so
with that.
and he was talking about his whole story about the UFOs. They had 12 of them hidden and stuff like that. And the only reason he went public about it because he was this rocket scientist.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't kill him.
They wouldn't kill him, and they started going on. It was before internet and stuff like that. They went and they deleted all of his history that he even existed and everything like that. And the only reason he was able to justify that he was alive was there was one newspaper article that had his name, that he was a professor at some university and stuff like that.
Damn.
So now he's he came public, and that was in the 80s.
Right.
So Joe had him on the show.
Right. And one thing about Bob Lazar is he's never varied from his story. You know what I mean? That's one thing. That
Right.
his story's always been consistent. You know what I
always
mean?
been the same
So
thing.
that's signs of somebody that's not lying.
Right,
Yeah.
a liar always messes up
right.
little details here
Exactly.
and there. And this guy for 30, 40 years has been saying the same thing,
Yeah.
word for word of what he saw. So now and that episode got how many millions of hits?
So what do you think about those videos you see online, UFOs flying? That's you think that's you
I mean, so
I can believe I seen mad videos in Mexico. Motherfuckers, oh,
I don't know
shit.
about those, but have you seen the one with the fighter jets where they have it on
yeah,
camera?
so
and
that
the
was the
Tic-Tac?
other one. Yeah, the Tic Tac.
That
Have you
was
seen
amazing.
that one?
I probably did.
It was they released, so they're doing the 180-day thing, but there was an actual footage that's been out for a long time now, where the Air Force was doing a training over the coast of California, and they saw this blip on the radar, and they started to track the blip, and then they put radar on the blip, and it blocked the radar actively, so they knew it was an active attack.
Yeah.
They call that as an attack. So then they were chasing this thing for a while until they were and then finally it just stopped and looked at them and then zipped off at 1,000 miles an hour.
It came up as a blip on a radar 6,000 or 600 miles away or something.
Right. Yeah,
After that,
in a split second.
Yeah.
What?
And then supposedly at around New Year's, off the coast of Hawaii, you saw that one?
Yeah, we just talked about that last week. Yeah.
Yeah. And the UFO it went into the ocean and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
But I've heard.
But you saw splash and shit.
Well, sometimes you see. I don't know. I didn't get.
Oh,
it.
did it just go
It just sunk in and went. But there's been talk that there's like UFO bases like under the earth, like stuff like that, right? Like,
Yeah, I've heard about
and
that.
they've been there for like a while and stuff. And like, you know, after a while, you start to hear these stories that are conspiracies that are really out there. But then you start to hear the same story over and over, kind of like the Bob Lazar thing.
Right.
After a while, it's like, there might be something there. But
It's
what
like
do you think?
believable.
Let me ask you this: like, do you think the public is ready for UFO disclosure in 180 days?
In my opinion, definitely not. You know what I mean? I don't think they're ready for that because it's just that's like nobody knows what's going to come with that. That's going to be some literally fucking otherworldly shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You think with their announcement, you think that they'll come out now? Like, oh, they already said we here. Let's go. Hey, Pepito. Woo! And you see everybody go.
No, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Trump takes
Who
off
knows?
his mask.
Yeah. Who knows? The
Surprise!
fucking aliens are listening to this podcast, waiting for that current event. You know what I mean? But,
We're all gonna get abducted tonight. The episode's not gonna make it.
But you know, last time we were talking here about UFOs also, and one of the things that caught my attention too was this guy from, if I'm not mistaken, Lebanon or Israel. You know, 80-year-old guy worked with the top secret over there, and I guess he's in his reaching his deathbed, and he's like, "Yo, just let y'all know there is aliens." You know what I mean?
The Israeli, yeah.
Israeli, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, "There's humans with aliens on Mars. There's a whole thing going on. They're living together." And again, it sounds off the wall, but I go back to the pyramids just to give an example. You know what I mean? They're been on Earth thousands and thousands of years. We keep finding out more and more things about it still to this day. And in now 2021, with all the machinery and computers and everything we have, we cannot remake a pyramid. Right. So all that is like, I don't know, again, my conspiracy theory, but I think it's all combined. It's weird, and I love talking about it.
And there's hidden chambers that they're still finding.
Right.
You know, like there was an article, I think it came out a couple years ago, where they did like some kind of like test on the pyramid, and they found like a heat spot that's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be all stone. And like, but if they move the heat, they haven't been able to move the spot, but like they think there's a chamber in there and that something's in there. And the thing is too, is like we have this like dating, and we think things are 5,000 years old.
Right.
And then every time, and then as science progress, we start to notice that it's going further and further back.
Right.
And history actually gets older as we start to look at it. So we don't know how long we've been down here. We don't know anything about our history and stuff like that, And then it was like not to go off topic on the UFO thing, but like they found out like last May that there was like one of the King Solomon temples in Israel, one of the old temples, they found residue of marijuana inside the temple on the altar.
That's dope. They had a dispensary back then.
So like, and they now discovered that, and like apparently marijuana and cannabis was like a thing that like they used to do all through Israel as part of prayer and ceremony.
That's
Damn.
awesome. Joe Rogan talks a lot about like mushrooms and stuff too. How they probably people's minds expanded when they ate these mushrooms. They didn't know what they were. You know what I mean? They thought they were eating food, and they were like, their mind was getting blown. You know what I mean? Back then.
100%. Like Terrence McKenna, like he was like back from the 70s. He was very much into psychedelic stuff like that. Like he talks about like like the reason we evolved, if you believe in evolution and stuff like that, is that it was like a monkey just goes and finds magic mushrooms and starts eating the mushrooms and becomes self-aware of the universe. Like imagine like and like because we are. Like we're very monkey-like still.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I tell people, look, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. I call it God because I grew up around that word, and that's what I feel has saved me from a lot of things and got me this far in my life. But when you look at the evolution thing, and you hear these stories about the magic mushrooms and people being self-aware, and it's hard to
Well, I want to. What type of mushrooms y'all niggas talking about?
Boy, that's something dope.
I ate mushrooms yesterday at Samurai, and I ain't getting none of that what you talking about right now. I ate them things, like, I just walked out of there full as hell for like 30 minutes and hungry again. Right. I actually, Uly, right quick, I actually want to know how was it exactly, like how you guys met?
Oh, okay, yeah. I wanted
what I'm saying?
I wanted to get into
We went
that.
off on a tangent there.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Listen, I love that. That's where UFO takes us into like all different types
I
of
feel like I'm a
rabbit holes,
mushroom right now. I'm a mushroom right now.
Yeah.
I have something to say before you go into
Yeah.
that story. It's
Yeah.
an exclusive for your podcast
Okay.
just
Oh,
to get things
awesome.
going.
Awesome.
I'm an alien, guys.
Awesome. Yes.
He came in here with a hat on. He was wearing a hat, and he was like,
The funny shit is, I always say that I'm an alien too. Tell you the truth. I mean, I think that like the people I'm around and the people I hang out with and flow like you, that we've been friends for years. We've been friends for years. I think we're all aliens. You know what I mean? Because I don't compare myself to too many people out there in the world. You know what I mean? The people I do are like, I have some in this room that we're all kind of the same. You know, we're the same species. And I think we're far from human, bro. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, yo. Killing it today, baby. I'm an alien. I'm gonna tell my girl when I get home. Like, baby, see this right here? Yeah. I'm an alien.
This is extraterrestrial. Hey, but getting back to the story, man. Me and Raj met at Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. Yep. Tony Robbins has helped me a lot in my life. He's a great motivational speaker for a few maybe people who live under a rock that don't know who he is. He's an amazing guy. I use him for motivation. I don't think that just listening to him, a miracle's gonna pop out of place. But I think if you listen to him and you apply what he says, which is just be consistent with what you do, you'll be successful. And he's helped me be consistent. You know, it's been 4 years since we met. I still apply certain things in my mind that I did with Tony and the day I met Yuga. And brother, it was 16,000 people, and out of 16,000 people, me and you connected there. You know what I mean? And we're still here to this day. And let the people know who Raj is, man. They want to know.
Yeah, so like I was Tony's photographer since 2012, so nearly 10 years now. I've been on that journey. I've been in the community since 2011, so this is actually my 10th year.
Nice. A round of applause for that 10th year, baby. Let's get around.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, so like it's been a journey. I've traveled the world with him. I used to do about probably 16 to 20 events a year.
Wow.
I was literally on the road like every 2-3 weeks, like traveling around. And then that event that we met at was actually the biggest event that he ever had on the U.S.
Yes, sir.
And that was 16,000 people, and like you had gotten invited as his guest, right?
Yeah. That's a whole different crazy story.
That's a whole other story for another day. But yeah, so it's just been like this incredible journey that I've been on with him. I actually stopped doing the photography for him in 2018. I stepped away because I wanted to pursue other stuff, and I was building Tony's dream, and I had to start focusing on my own. I remember like the day that I told him too, because I was like, they were like, you can't leave and like not tell him that you're not coming back, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And like, so I go backstage and I told him, and he was like, I was like, listen, Tony, I was like, I've been here like 7-8 years now. And he just looked at me and he's like, you've been here that long? Like, what the fuck are you still doing here? Like, go out and live your mission and live your purpose.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, and he put his hand on my heart and he says, look, every time I've seen you, you've always lived in this beautiful state. Go out and take it to the world, And he's always just been really good to me over the years. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about him. Like he's like, I highly recommend everybody, like this is not a plug for him, but like go check it out. Like if you're looking for brain optimization, and it's not about like motivation, right? Like it does give you motivation, but it's more about like optimizing like the way that you think so that you can make better decisions and you can get the goal and outcome that you want out of your life. So like that's all that. So like now I do a lot of work with I do speaking gigs for the United Nations. I've been traveling around the world doing different types of stuff around that. We just actually were in Israel last February, and we did this like tour through the Holy Land, starting in Jordan in the Dead Sea, and then from the Dead Sea we went to Palestine and we went to Israel, and like we did all of these like ceremonies and stuff like that with the United Nations. So I do that, and then I also do leadership coaching. Optimizing things and like optimizing the brain and making sure everything like goes really well. I mean, like for you, for example, right? Like you were saying earlier, you have this warrior spirit, right. Like I'm sure there's a process, like you're already in the process of preparing for your fight, right? Right. You already know the type of person, because you're not going to rock up in a month from now and like 2 days before be like, yeah, I'll do this. I'm ready.
Yeah. Right.
And like, but you have a process and a methodology and an outlook and a focus that creates this path for you into how to win. And there's a reason why you were inducted into the Hall of Fame as a result of that, because you put in the work, and that's exactly what this is about. Like, like that's what personal development and stuff is, and like optimizing that style of thing.
And let me tell you, preparing for fights and since before I met Tony till I met you, I use certain things that he does to get myself in the zone. He's pulled me out of like dark places, dark thoughts, and I know again, it's not anything you're gonna hear and turn a miracle, but if you apply what he's telling you, and it's not just one time, it's a constant thing. If you stay consistent, he's got him. I could give him a lot of credit for getting me, to where I'm at today, in the sense of like applying certain things that he does. I always refer back to his books, you know what I mean? I still got you as a friend, and we still talk about positive things. Surround myself with positive people. And like you said earlier, this is not a plug for him. I wish it was. I'd be getting paid to do some Tony Robbins. That'd be amazing. But yeah, man, I mean, he touched me, you know what I mean? And again, he brought us together by being at his place.
It's really good that we connected from it, right? And we just stayed in contact over the years and just been like, building. And I've literally seen from the beginning of your career.
Absolutely.
We're talking about you were on Fight 5 when I met you, and now you're Hall of Fame and like for the bare knuckle champion. You know what I mean? Like you've come a long way, bro. Like mad respect, for sure. And I'm glad I was able to see that journey that you've been on.
Hey, and so everybody watching, just so you know, I was asking Raj for a phone charger at this place, right? and the friendship sparked from I had his phone charger, and then we started talking. I found this is in New Jersey. I found out he lived in Fort Lauderdale. Shit, I'm from Miami. Yeah, let's connect when we get down here, and we did. And we kept the conversation going, man, and I met some great people through you, know, and we've had great times. But I wanted to ask you, how was it that you got to be Tony Robbins' photographer? How'd you get to that stage?
So, that was by design. Nice. Like I was saying earlier about how you get into that state,
right?
To prepare for the fight. Like, if you live intentionally, if you live with that focus in mind on what you want. So, like, I was in... Just not to be like super open, but like I was in a very dark place. I was like borderline suicidal by the time this was in beginning of 2011, and I was ready to take my life because I was just not living my true purpose and everything like that. And I got this email. I had $500 in my bank account. I got this email. Tony Robbins is in Fort Lauderdale. And it was $500 for the ticket. I was like, this is a sign from God right now. So I put the $500 down, went to the thing, played full out for the entire thing. When I got to see Tony on stage, I was like, I want to shake his hand. So I was like, that's my goal. I'm going to shake his hand. Mm-hmm. Most people have been in that community for 20 years, never even gotten within 6 feet of him, right? Fast forward 6 months later, I volunteer for one of the events, and he pulls all the volunteers on stage at the end of the event. And I happen to be standing right behind him. He turns around and he starts shaking my hand as the first person that he shook his hand. And I was like, oh, check.
Energy must have been fucking incredible.
And but this
like
is the
a lightning
thing, right?
struck right
It was
there.
like when he shook my hand, it was like nobody else in the room mattered. There was 6,000 people in the thing, but that presence was just like something I'd never felt before. And I was like, holy shit, this is like something real here. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, all right, well, what's next? I was like, well, he's going to know me on a first name basis. A year later, I end up getting an email 2 days. I didn't plan any of this. Literally 2 days before the event in Orlando. And they were like, hey, we heard you do photography from the and like you do it from the last event. A year ago, we heard about you. And like, if you want to be the photographer, you get 2 tickets to the event, you get to meet Tony Robbins, and you get a photo with him. I was like, fuck yeah, sign me up. Like, what do you say to that, right? Yeah. So then that's how it happened. And then, so I ended up going and meeting him and had this experience. And then a year after that, he moved to Florida. All the events moved to Florida with him. Mm-hmm. Suddenly this became my area. And then they started calling me to go to more events, do more things, and then so began the journey of like an 8-year journey of being with him. And I've been in rooms with him that with literally 30 people and Tony Robbins. I've been in big rooms of 16,000 people with him. I actually went and attended a couple of events, and I was sitting in the audience, and I was going through, I had a breakthrough, and I cried for 2 hours. My brain was reprogramming.
Oh my God.
2 days later, my nose was bleeding because I was literally reprogramming so much negativity from my past. Mm-hmm. But when I was sitting there and I was in that state, I had looked over to the side and I could see him and his wife on stage looking directly at me and just sending me love from a distance. And I thought at this point, they just thought me as like the photographer. They didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And like, they're just, you know, you're just like the staff guy, you know, but like, and I could see that they actually did care and everything like that. And I was like, wow, that was really cool to see that, you know, and like, and that's why I said I'll have nothing bad to say about him. Because
And did he? I know Uly told me one time about I think it was that same show that then everybody went outside and then you had to walk on the thing.
Yeah. No, he
that
makes
was
you
so
walk
fun.
on.
You did that too?
Yeah, fire coals. No,
my
this
that's the same event.
I don't want to ruin it by saying things here. You know what I mean? Like you have to go to a Tony Robbins show to experience this. The guy's amazing. Thank you for sharing what you just did with us. You know what I mean? That's deep. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
And we've all been at a bad point in our life, and you know, I could say also that Tony helped me get out of certain situations like that too. You know, and you know what, man? I think that was great what you just did, and I kind of want to end the podcast on that note, man. Good things happen to good people. I think you're a great person, so great things happen to you, and I think you have a great future ahead of you, man. You brought nothing but great energy to me when you know, since I met you. I got to shake Tony Robbins' hand too, so I felt that lightning bolt in me too. You know what I mean? It was amazing, man, and that night brought our friendship together, bro. It's amazing, and listen, man, thank you so much for being episode 3.
Yes,
I
sir.
couldn't have had anybody better. You're the man. And fucking much love, brother, and much respect, and to a bright future for all of us, brother.
Let's do it up in 2021.
Yes, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, before we go, because we always miss this on camera, we got something nice for you, Raj.
Oh, okay.
Little monster gear.
Oh, yeah, I need some monster gear for sure.
Let me get you on that flip side, boy. Let me get you on.
Oh, we got him with the professional one, bro. You get
nice.
the little M.
All right.
That's like you're part of management.
Monster, get it.
Hey, Raj, thank you so much for being on, man. We truly appreciate you. This is episode 3 of Don't Blink with my boy Raj. It was Tony Robbins, personal photographer, and much more, bro. A great man, a great person. We shared some great stories. We got into some current events, some UFO shit, and just, man, listen, man, you already know, don't blink.
Don't blink.
I think me and Two Nights got something great going on. We got some great guests coming up. It's gonna be dope. We got some dope people that already, you know, signed up to do it with us, which is great. A lot of people show us love, and it's because we love them back for sure.
So, you know, Raj, this is called the Don't Blink podcast. We got a little something that we try to see how long we can stare at each other without blinking. So you ready for this?
Let's go.
1, 2. Okay, he wins. Thank you, my brother.